What does a student do after finishing a sport that drove them to many huge decisions? For many students here at Emory and Henry College, including myself and my guest here today, the decision to play a sport in college was the sole thing that led them, myself, or my guest to this campus. We've seen the commercials. We know the quote. There are over 400,000 student athletes, and most of them will go pro in something other than sports. Paul Cousins sits beside me today, a former offensive lineman of the Emory and Henry football team. Just a few weeks ago, the season and his career came to an end. He's here to talk about what's next in life without the game that meant so much to him. Paul, how's it going, man?
It's good. Retirement's treating me well so far.
Yeah, well, that's my first question. How's the retired life? What's Paul Cousins do with all the extra time?
Well, I've been busy right off the bat. It's kind of football ended in a kind of busy point in school, so kind of just been doing work so far. Started playing a little golf. Just been.
That's about as retirement life as it gets. But and now, from my understanding and from what you told me, you're playing in a senior bowl in Myrtle Beach. Talk about what that means to you.
I found out 2 days ago that I was invited to play in the Division III Senior Classic. It's like a bowl game. It's a national bowl game for the whole division. It's a big scouting and recruiting I guess it's designed for free agency, for people that want to go pro from Division III. But that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm more just excited about playing in another football game and getting to meet people from all over the country and people that share my passion for football and played on the same level as me.
Yeah, and you're going down there along with Rennell Marshall, senior linebacker, and he's got sort of a different attitude than you. He's actually trying to make it to the next level. At what point in your career did you realize, hey, I'm not going to play at the next level?
Yeah, I've always played football. I mean, I love football. That's why I play football. It's always been a part of my life since I can remember. And I came to Emory and Henry not really expecting to go professionally, even if I had the opportunity. I don't know how I'd feel about that. And I guess my sophomore year of college is when I really started to realize that I needed to start focusing more on school and not really paying attention to football after college.
Yeah. So what's it like now? You've been playing since you were 6. You told me before. It's a lifestyle, It's not just a hobby. It's not just something you put on your resume. What does Paul Cousins do now?
Yeah, I guess it hasn't really sunk in yet. I feel like right now it's kind of a relief. It was such a busy season, and I just feel a little relaxed right now, but I'm sure it'll start to sink in around spring ball. But I definitely feel like football is always going to be a part of my life. I am planning to pursue coaching and try to go into coaching, and I'm still going to be involved with the Emory and Henry football program. I'm going to be here in the fall, and hopefully we'll be involved coaching with that in sort of a graduate assistant sort of position.
So I know those are sort of temporary goals. 10 years down the road, is football still going to be as involved in your life as it is now? Well,
I guess I'm still considering it, but I'm probably going to pursue a career in coaching. That might be I haven't really decided what level I want to aim for. But I could easily see myself 10 years down the road being a high school coach, being a high school offensive line coach, and just helping out guys that just have the same love for the sport as I do.
Yeah, and in other retirement news, you see the retirements on TV, ESPN, Kobe Bryant. But you're a Division III athlete. Do you think that it's easier for a Division III athlete to retire than, say, a guy like Kobe Bryant? Because you're walking into this knowing, your chances of going pro are pretty slim.
I think it comes down to more like the passion for the game at this level. It's not. I feel, and my teammates and I, we all have the exact same love for the sport of football that any professional athlete would have, and we prove that by playing the sport for 4 years without scholarship. We're paying money, going to college and playing the sport just out of the love of the sport, because there's such a slim % chance of us actually making a career out of this, and everyone knows that. So.
And now, you are a student athlete. Talk about your relationship in the classroom. You're a mass communications major, am I right? Talk about that relationship off of the field.
Yeah. When I first got to Emory, I didn't really take my studies as serious as I should have. Like I said, I kind of focused more on football. But I began to realize around my sophomore year that there's this is a place where I can really build my career and build what I want to do, and that's really what I've put my focus in since I've been here. I've given everything I had to the football program, but I've also tried to better myself as a student.
So you have this mass communications degree that you'll get in a couple months, and then a football career that is also on your resume. Are you going to tie those together? Is there one that you have to make a decision, right?
Well, I'm also in the sports management program, and my goal is to eventually work in sports. I want to go into sort of, I guess, sports marketing and media relations, and that'll involve possibly looking at grad school options too in the future. I'm sure you remember Ashley Caldwell. She's at University of Tennessee working in the sports media relations department there, and that's something that I've been really interested in since I've been here, and I think that's a perfect intersect of my interest in sports and media and along those lines.
Yeah, and you're definitely handling this great. I can tell just talking to you about the end of your football career. Could you speak to maybe the athletes that step off the field for the last time and aren't doing as well as you are right now?
Like the Coach Newsom would always tell us about, like, the hardest part of his football career was playing the last game. We lost our last game, and he was talking about how he lost his last game, and it just crushed him, and that was just the worst feeling he's ever had. And I was expecting to have the same reaction, and I've kind of haven't really felt that yet, and I don't know if it just hasn't settled in yet, but I feel like I realize that football is not, like, gone in my life. It's always going to be a part of my life, and I'm content in my career as a football player as it is right now. I think I've had a good career. And
absolutely. Football has been something that has defined you, and I want to end on something along those lines now. Football defines you. Now it's done. Now it's over. What defines Paul Cousins?
Well, I guess what I've taken from football is like the ability to be a leader and to work as a team, and I feel like that's also a big part of who I am outside of the football program, and I feel like I'm going to be able to take that into whatever I do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, thank you for being on the set, Paul. I know it's hard to talk about, but thank you for talking about your retirement. I hope that golf game gets a little better. The driver in your hands, it's not easy to keep it on the fairway. But thank you for viewing us, and thank you, Paul, for being on the Allen set. This was the Sports Interview. I'll now send it over to Nathan Fischel with the Sports Update.